right, so now we're going to talk about limits to consumer rationality. Why might people not act completely rationally? And this is quite a nice topic because it just kind of makes sense. And obviously, we've got these economic models that assume that everyone's just going to be rational. And that's a problem because people are not rational. So let's suppose that somebody even was rational in the sense that you don't make mistakes in your reasoning. You can think things through clearly. But obviously we do make mistakes. But let's just suppose for a minute that we couldn't make mistakes. Okay, so how are we going to go through life with perfect rationality, perfectly estimating everything? Well, we still couldn't. Because if I give you a test with 3,000 questions and I say, okay, do that in 2 minutes, please. You could be a genius, but are you gonna be able to read through every question and work it out in that time? Like, you're limited just by how quickly can you turn the pages? How quickly can your brain physically fire the neurons to actually work out the answers to all of these questions, even if they were easy questions. Like if you 3,000 multiplication questions, can you do them in 120 seconds? I don't know. Especially if you're turning pages and whatnot. So there were just constraints to how quickly we can work things out. So if I'm walking around in the shop and I'm deciding whether or not to buy something, I need to look at things. What do I need to do? Read through their ingredients, work out exactly how much I value this product. No, I don't have time for that. I'm not going to go through, like, the time cost would be too high for it to be worth me ascertaining the exact value of this product to work out my exact demand function for this product and then decide how many I'm willing to buy at the price given. So that's a limit to my rationality, is computational time. And that's the fundamental reason, aside from us being stupid sometimes and not being able to work things out, that's the fundamental reason why there are limits to consumer rationality, and also our rationality as workers and the rationality of people who run companies. The limits are we can't spend infinite time working everything out, even if we did have perfect information. And obviously, in reality, we tend never to be perfectly informed about something. So these are limits that really constrain our models when we're trying to work out how well we're actually maximizing welfare, or how well markets are actually maximizing welfare. That's one thing. And then there are a couple of things that follow on from this issue of computational speed, which is, well, we have to come up with shortcuts. If we can't work everything out instantly, what can we use instead? So one thing that we use instead is we use prices as signals themselves. So if something's more expensive, then typically we might actually think it's more valuable, even if it's not. That's how drop shipping happens, right? Drop shipping is a mix of, we don't have perfect information about something. We're not going to spend a million years working out all the information about the product. So when we see something overpriced on Amazon, or we get an advert on Instagram or YouTube or whatever that says, hey, there's this cool product with a link to Amazon and it's going for $20. If $20 isn't that much money to you, you might just buy it. But if you've got the time, then you can go and Google and work out that you can get it for $2 elsewhere. But drop shipping works for people who value the product and use the price as a signal of how much it actually costs to make, and don't value the $20 that much and are more time poor. It's a bit of a roundabout example, but I think it's a great example of how, hey, that there's a limit to how well the market works as a result of people's kind of time limitations. And so we might just look at the price. We might also just have our habits. If we have something that's working quite good for us, we might need a particular reason to actually put in the time to see if something else would work better. If I buy set products and I'm very happy with this brand, it always treats me well, It always does the job. There might be a better alternative out there, but I need some good reason to think that the better alternative would actually be worth it. So I'm just going to pop along and carry on buying the brand. There's brand loyalty. I'm going to have my existing habits. And I might look at what other people like and what other people do. And that's an indication of what other people have decided is a good thing and works for them. These are all shortcuts that stem from the fundamental problem of I can't work everything out instantly because I only have so much time. No matter how clever I am, I have a um a time limitation. And so this is limits on rationality, which means consumers don't act completely rationally, and therefore things don't necessarily always markets don't clear in a way that necessarily optimizes welfare. Just to give a quick summary of what we've gone over, we've got, I shall share whiteboard. This is something I did earlier. We've got limits to rationality, and we've got computational problems, particularly the time it takes. And then we resort to habits, we resort to brand loyalty, we resort to peer comparisons. What do other people do? And these are all shortcuts because we're not going to hang around and work everything out, even if we were perfectly clever and never made reasoning mistakes.